Yes.
Yes, thank you. All right, we're set for sentencing today. Mr. Brooks had pled guilty on January 26th to voluntary manslaughter, a first-degree felony, with a specification to that count for using a firearm. The maximum penalty is 11 years in prison plus 1 year for the gun specification. And we're here today on sentencing. Mr. Bennett, is there any reason sentencing should not go forward today?
None, Your Honor.
And Mr. Bennett, I think I will start with you and ask you for whatever information you'd like to provide to the court on mitigation of sentence.
Judge, I would reiterate all mitigation I said before, and I would be able to simply say this. I think the plea by the state of Ohio and the defense is consistent with Ohio law. I think the purposes of incarceration will be accomplished within that period of time. I would ask the court to adopt and effectuate the proposed and recommended sentence by the state of Ohio. That's all I have.
And Mr. Bennett, could you tell me on the agreed recommended sentence what the terms for the post-release control are?
I think post-release control is mandatory. I don't think.
Mandatory up to 5 years.
Correct.
Okay. And is there any need for, as part of the agreed recommended sentence, was there a stay away order from the victim's family?
That was part of the agreement because it's going
I'm
to
sorry.
run quicker. You want me to leave this on?
You can take it off.
I can take it off? No. He's going to be in prison, so there's no need for a stay away. The term that was agreed upon was a 5-year prison sentence. So at that period of time, he would not be around. He wouldn't be in the community. So there's no need for a stay away order.
Was there any agreement as to fines or costs?
There was no agreement to fine, so the agreement didn't say that he should be fined a certain amount either. The agreement was that he would receive 4 years in the Department of Corrections, so with a 1-year gun specification for a total aggregate sentence of 5 years. That's the only agreement there. So, and that's what we asked the court to propose as a matter of sentence.
Thank you. Mr. Bennett, is there anyone, first of all, would Mr. Brooks like to speak to the court directly? You're not required to, but you may. If you would like to speak, I will listen to whatever you have to offer.
Now, one
Sure.
We have nothing to offer, Your Honor. Nothing.
All right, and is there anyone from Mr. Brooks, on Mr. Brooks' behalf that would like to speak to the court for sentencing?
One moment. Can't hear or go forward. Judge, you want to go for Your Honor?
If anybody would like to speak, I'd ask them if they can stand and use the handheld microphone. And if you would like to speak, just a reminder that you were speaking to me about sentencing, and you are, I'd ask that you state your name and then tell me your relationship to anyone, if you are related to anyone in the case.
Okay, thank you, Your Honor. May I take this off?
Yes, you can take your mask off, but if you're going to stand at the lectern, you don't need to again help mic. In fact, that's going to be the same feedback. Adjust the microphone so we can hear you.
Can you hear me? Thank you for allowing me to speak this morning, Your Honor.
And what is your name?
My name is Betty Whittington, and I am Jordan's great aunt. I would like to say a few words on behalf of Jordan, and then after that, I have a brief letter that I would like to read from his grandma Linda, who could not be here today because she's just too broken apart. What I wanted to say is I've known Jordan his entire life, and my words are going to come from my heart, so it will be a little difficult. The words I would use to describe Jordan are much like the words I would use to describe my late father. Jordan is kind. He is good-natured, easygoing, calm, respectful, and polite, and happy. Much like my father, I see so many characteristics of my father in Jordan, his great-grandfather. Anyone who knows Jordan knows him to be this way. Just a week ago, Jordan took the time to sit with his great-grandmother, which is my mother, because she wanted to watch the Bengals playoff game, and he did that with her because she wanted to, and he spent all the time spending it with her and watching the game, because that's the kind of admirable young man idea of Jordan's character. Over the Jordan distraught and sad regarding this horror. He's still appalled and in shock this ever happened. Jordan has always been a good kid. In his teenage years, he played basketball close to home, then played video games at night at home with a few friends and his brothers. In high school, he started working and has had a job ever since. Jordan is humble, loving, family-oriented. His little nieces and nephews love him, and he's so good with them. Jordan will always help someone when needed. He's also very funny, and he would keep us in stitches when we were together. Jordan is a delight to be around, which is true. And we are very fortunate to have him in our family, which is true. She said, I love how he would talk to his great-grandmother for hours. She says, I have the utmost respect and love for him. And she closes with, thank you, Your Honor. Linda Branham, Jordan's grandmother. Thank you, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
Anyone else, Mr. Bennett?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Chess, for the state?
Yes, we have several family members of the victim who would like to address the court. I think the first one would be Van Kesey. Want to step up right here?
Hey, good morning, Judge Branch.
Good morning, Mr. Kesey. Can you spell your name for us?
My name is Vance, V-A-N-C-E.
And your
Last name K-E-E-S-E-E.
Well, that was easy. All right. And how are you related, if at all, to
I'm Rondell's father.
Rhonda's father?
Yes.
Please let me know what you'd like me to, tell me what you'd like me to know.
And her mother, I said, yes, ma'am. So we were years later, and well, a couple years later, that's when I married her. He was was 2 years old. And it was just me, my wife, and Rondell. And I got him out of the car seat. I begged him. I fed him. That was my son. Like on Thanksgiving, Christmas, whatever. But that was my son. And I raised him up to be a man, you know, and to be accountable. Now, I never seen Jordan. Rondell's been in my life all my life, all his life. Rondell has the reality of it. Rondell got 7 kids. For them to, but he loved. And I guess that's how he reunited with his father's other kids. And for him to, you know, he's raised his kids. And for them to, I don't know what happened or whatever, but you set something up like this, but then you don't want to get accountable for it. You know, and to do that in front of all his kids at the house, he's got all his kids at the house, and then you set him up and go outside and blow his brains out in the parking lot. So all these kids need psychological help. They bust out crying. This is what we're dealing with now in reality. He's got a son that's 1 year old when it happened. He come over my house Thanksgiving. And I hear him, Daddy, you know, I said, I'm Papa. And I turn and look, he over there looking at his daddy's picture. He knows who his daddy is. He knows who his father is. That puts a feeling in me. That's his thing. You know, these kids need their father. But the reality is, Rondell is gone, and he's not coming back. So when they set him up to do this, he took a hit off his cigarette and turned around because he know he got to man up on whatever circumstance it is. So if he got to man up, he got to man up. I didn't raise my kids to be no soft. You be accountable for what you're doing. Everybody who was there needed to be accountable. I could respect more if they would have blew his brains out and walked to the car. What you gonna run for? That was mine. All I wanted to do for me was make me happy, please me. And I can say some encouraging words to him because when you got 7 kids and it's hard out here and life gets you down, he come to me and talk to me anytime. And then I talk to him and then the world is bright. He leave out of the house with doggone half the freezer and refrigerator. All that, you know. That was my boy. I can't talk to my boy no more. You know, and I ain't been right since my body done broke down since this incident happened. Oh, yeah, you sorry that ain't ever happened. I'm sorry for the family that you taking us all through all this. This is like waking up for another funeral. I can't stand funerals. And now we got to lay this right all over again. His mama, she ain't too good. I called her one night. She said, I'm holding the birth certificate in one hand and the death certificate in the other. And that's her firstborn. And since this funeral, it doesn't hurt everybody. She done lost her sister, her mama, her sister-in-law, 2 aunts. You know, this is very, very crucial on our side of the family. And I'm the grandfather. I'm the head man. And to do a 5-year plea, his baby, 5 years, he gonna think he the boogeyman if he get out and see him. These boys gonna grow up to be men. They're not gonna stay little boys forever. His daughter, I tried to pick her up from school. She said, you know, we got close time. I can't believe Uncle Jordan did this. They know him. What they think when they see him, when they grow up. You got to be accountable for what you do. Everybody is born with 24 hours to make the right decisions. That's what everybody's given, from a baby to a grown adult. 24 hours. And you'll be accountable for what you do. And that's how I raised right there, to grow up to be a man. That's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Casey.
Judge, we also have Rondell Brooks III, the victim's son.
I think it's not fair that they take off what my dad, and let's not come and explain.
Ms. Tuss, could you tell me how old?
He is age 9, Judge, age 9.
9.
Yes. India Kesey.
My name is India Kesey.
And Ms. Kesey, what's your relationship?
That's my big brother. I'm the second
You
oldest.
can take your mask off.
That's my brother. I'm the second oldest. He first and then me. Same mother. I just want to say that my brother did not deserve to be murdered in front of his children the way that he did. But one thing that I know about him is that he does not condone violence in front of his children, or where he laid his head at. He's not going to bring drama right there. You know, he just not built like that. They want to keep talking about these tattoos. Just because you got tattoos don't mean you blow somebody's brains out. I got tattoos. He got tattoos. That don't mean you're going to kill somebody. I do not believe that he was scared that night. He's scared right now. He was not scared that night. The video showed that this was all rehearsed and planned out, from the 2 cars to running up the hill and looking out. This was premeditated. They planned it out. So, you know, they should be accountable, everybody involved, not even just him. He was shot 4 times and nose to his anterior. I don't know how that's self-defense. That's clearly murder. You can shoot someone in the back and in the back of the head and call it self-defense. Don't work like that either. At the end of the day, we just trying to keep these kids level-headed and, you know, try to pick up the pieces and wipe their tears and try to fill this void that's never going to be filled. They wanted to watch a football game with their dad too, but he's gone. He can watch a football game with his family. You know, that's not fair either. My family and I are asking for a fair judgment, and that he served the next time. He wanted Rondell dead. Rondell was dead. We want him to go to prison for the next time, and we just feel like that's only fair. That's all I got to say.
Judge, we have Vance Kesey.
Good, how are you this morning? How are you related?
That's my big brother,
Big brother?
yes. I'm not that prepared, didn't know how to prepare for this, so you can just bear with me. And God, we trust. The Most High has appointed Judge Branch to justify my eldest brother's death. We're here on a reenactment on the first murder that took place in the Bible when Cain killed his brother. Genesis 4, verse 9 reads, God said to Cain, where is your brother Abel? And he said, I do not know. He said, I do not know. He said, I do not know. Am I my brother's guardian? He lied just as Jordan has lied. The righteous one will stand there boldly. The wicked one will flee, just as Jordan did. He heard about what has happened. He came to the scene with a loaded weapon, already cocked, one in the head, which means he came with the intent to harm. And he succeeded at that. He waited until he turned around, as we've seen on the video, and he shot him from the side, and in his back, and in his back of the head. He never hit no cardiovascular area. He never hit the center mass of it. I just wish that he would stand up and be a man. And if that's what you wanted to do, say that's what you wanted to do. Don't cry when you hear your sins. You be remorseful before that. He ain't show no remorse until he heard it said, until he heard time. He worried about who's bigger, who got tattoos. He finna be around a whole bunch of people with a lot of tattoos, and be bigger than him. He can't go killing off anybody just because he feels he's scared of them. And not only that, their kids have to look out the window and see their dad on the ground. He told him, you can't be in here with that weapon. Let me put my dog away. He meant him no harm. He watched him. He know how my brother lived. He know how our brother lived. And he came there and he came there with one of our other brothers, so they made him feel comfortable to get him outside like they was gonna do nothing to him. That's why he wasn't gonna do it. He turned around and blew his brains out from the back. I've never seen two kids go in the store. One looks out for the and one wants to steal a candy bar, and one gets a candy bar. They both going. You know what I mean? And the vengeance is not for us. The vengeance is for God. Nobody wants street justice. If he was that fearful, he should have called the law and took it that way. You can take justice to your own hands. Nobody should take justice to their own hands. This is not his first run around with no firearms or nothing like that. This is his first time being caught. I know him. This is his first time being caught. I don't appreciate that I have to take care of 7 kids that I didn't lay down with half. And all that pressure falls on me. And I have to stay strong and be a man of God. These are his nieces and nephews also. They scared of this dude. They can't see him in 5 years. And we discussed that already. And I just want to say sorry to his family and Miss Amy that she lost a son also. And to his family, we both lost something because of his actions and what he wanted to do and how he felt at the moment. You don't posse up at 1 o'clock in the morning. You don't do that. You're going with the intent to harm. He didn't back his weapon. He waited till he turned and he fired. He's not a concealed carrier. He's not even supposed to have that. There's so much I can say, but I can't even finish. But I'm just sorry for their family too. And that's all I got to say.
Thank you, Mr. Keith.
Judge, we have John Heath.
I'm John Heath, Rondell's uncle. I just want to say that, well, everything pretty much has been said already, but just add a little more to it. We all go through life making decisions, and we know a man knows, what decision that's gonna lead him down a certain path. Jordan knew that night was the possibility. It's like, man, you go down to the casino and you know you got a certain amount of money and you roll the dice. You know there's a chance that you can lose. You went in there with that knowledge. So he knew that there's a chance he could end up here. It ain't for us, it ain't for you to say, well, let me give you your money back. You knew the casino won't do that. Or we gonna give you half of it back. You knew when you rolled the dice, it was a chance you were gonna lose. So he knew. So what we asking is, it was said in this courtroom, or that nigga, like his own attorney, his own course, his people.
You can remove your mask.
The Clyde referred to Rondell as a nigga here in the courtroom. So I'm saying, don't let the sentence today should reflect that you agree with him, or that is he just that? This life matter. The whole Black Lives Matter and why people, ethnic groups feel the justice system don't respect their lives is because of a 5-year plea deal. So it's like to restore the children's faith in their belief in the court system, show that Rondell's life mattered. It didn't matter to Jordan. It might not matter to them now. But shows that the court says this is a person. He was a person, he had children, he had thoughts, he had goals. The only reason why I know or heard of a Jordan is because Rondell was so into bringing him together with his family. That's all he talked about. You know, Rondell never, ever discussed any ill will to none of them at all. Otherwise, I would have said, don't meet with him or don't hang around with him. He never even discussed that he wanted to do anything to them. So for them to feel like, oh, now we're afraid of him and he's want to do something. And I'm just hearing recently that this wasn't the first time that Jordan put a gun on Rondell. This is the reason why they had to beef in the first place. They was trying to close that gap. That's the reason why they had beef, because he ended up pulling a gun on him in the first place. So now Rondell called himself saying, hey, let's just squash it. Let's go ahead and, talk about it. Instead of talking about it, he had intentions to finish what he started the first time before the gun. This time he used it. So this is what his goal was. He said, so he doesn't respect forgiveness, mercy, kindness, or he don't let things go. Why should you let it go? He could have said, well, yeah, we had an argument, we had a disagreement. Let me let that go. He didn't let it go. He nursed that grudge, and when he saw his opportunity, he took it. So now that he's in the hand of the court, he want to probably look at him and say, well, show me that same consideration. You didn't show that to Rondell. You didn't say, well, he is family. Well, he is my brother. He didn't have that type of, now he want to sit here and want to, he don't want to become for his actions. It's like, how would you feel if that was your family? What would you think justice is? How would you feel? How would you feel that your child's life mattered? Would you say, yeah, 5 years, yeah, you got that? Because that's what my child's life mattered. That's what his life was about. It was only 5 years. Would you do that to your child? Would anybody here agree with that? They crying for him now. So you know that they wouldn't agree with that. So if they wouldn't agree with it, we wouldn't agree with it, and you shouldn't agree with it. So it's like, I had a video. One brother put up here, the other one said here. Now, if it was like something that was happened at an accident, we all got family members. If you heard a situation, will you just run off like it was a plan, or would you say, what happened? Oh, I just shot Rondell. Our brother? Should the video should have seen people going back to the scene like, you just shot our brother? No, they left like that was their intention. Like, hey, boom. Because common sense would say, you just had an argument and you shot our brother. The video should have saw people rushing, not people fleeing. So, just like the Bible says, the righteous, if they ain't nothing wrong, the righteous ain't go and cop like a lion. They be like, hey, this is what happened. He said, the wicked flee. So that's all I can say.
Thank you, Mr. Healy.
Judge, next, a family member is Cameron Gaines.
Mr. Gaines.
Like ever since that day, I just been real deep sadness. I feel numb. Like I feel me, I disrespect it. Like I don't see how you can promote family, like you love family, and just doing like that. Like, that's not what you're supposed to be saying, And I lost a protector, you know. Somebody taught me how to fight, you know, grew me to be like, not no sucker, you know. And now it's gone, so it's not like I still got, you know, protectors and whatnot, but just we had a special kind of relationship, you know. I'm the youngest. He's always, you know, I'm the baby, you know, so I'll get like a special kind of treatment, you know, from him.
And how are you related to Mr. Brooks?
It's my oldest brother.
Your oldest brother?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yeah. Just seeing his kids, just different parts of him in them, it just reminds me of him. It just put me in a repetitive cycle of sadness, you know. But I just hope my brother get the justice he deserves. That's it.
Judge, and the last family member to speak is Angela Kesey.
Good morning.
Good morning, Ms. Casey.
I have a few things, trying to make it, I'm gonna start with this deal done in the dark, so to speak. They had a chance to deliberate this at the very minimum, 24 hours. We went Monday for it, we went Tuesday for it, Wednesday we showed up to, oh, we have a plea bargain and blah, blah, blah. And I only had moments to decide, are we going to try to go all the way, or are we going to secure some type of conviction? Obviously, as a mother, I want a conviction, but I didn't get a chance to understand what the parameters of the law are, and I didn't understand that 5 years was amicable for someone's son, father, brother, you know, that 5 years. My oldest child, not that any of them deserve it, but the one that made him one. 4 years. 5 bullets rang out, 4 passed through his body, from the left to the right and to the back. None of them in a self-defense position, okay? Each bullet represents a year that he'll spend in jail. The fatal blow doesn't get more than a year. The fact that he had a gun in the first place without having a CCW or anything else only gets a year. So it's the gun gets a year, each bullet that passed through my baby's body gets a year. That's an insult to my labor pains, that's an insult to my effort, to Big Dance's effort. You know, I feel sorry for both of them. Him too. Now, to agree with his aunt. When I was around Jordan, he was a breath of fresh air. He was a funny little, cute little boy, you know. He was that. But to see this, you know, everybody has another side. And maybe that's the side that they don't know. It is the side that they don't know. So my point was saying that, in the fact that I feel sorry for him too. My child in April of 20 broke down to their father, asking him to come and remedy whatever situation. He never told me what, but he asked him to come. I don't know what he enjoys the relationship is, but I feel like instead of calling his baby brother, instead of like my baby boy has a chance to be, you know, he doesn't have a chance to be around his brother anymore. His baby brother helped him kill their oldest brother. Jordan should have called their dad, like Gail found out and reached out to his father. Not the law. Trying to talk to Vance, but Vance doesn't know Jordan to try to remedy, oh, y'all brothers. We're not gonna have that. The fact that they couldn't even call their own natural father to remedy what's going on with their brothers. Come down here in Florida, you know, if you have to snatch them up in the chest, talk to them man to man, squash it and make them make up. You know, that's terrible that they couldn't do that. I feel sorry for him in that respect, but at the same time, as was mentioned, he made a complete mockery of the law. You know, the way they persecuted Jesus was in the middle of the night. Jordan went to execute justice in the middle of the night. He took matters into his own hands after Dale had already did some jail time for something that he already had going on. So again, who are you to take matters into your own hands? You know, and back to this thing that I only had a moment to deliberate on, you know, again, you guys know way better than I can say what deserves what sentence was what, you know, but 4 bullets passing my child's body, one costing his life, and who's to say that the one that punctured his lung would have did it too with all that blood sitting on his lung? We have to do that. I'm pleading with you to make a statement, because what I don't want is for this record to get out. Oh, all you gotta do is say self-defense, and Judge Grant will say, oh, 5 years, I'll do that. And then that sets a precedent for the street. You know, that plays over into how everyone else does it. I hate that Camden is not up here sitting next to him. I hate that Ricardo is not sitting up here next to him. That was, as my brother mentioned, if it was a situation where it was self-defense and standing on it as a, you didn't naturally act. Oh, you shot our brother. Oh my God, we gotta call daddy. We gotta wait. Let's see if we can do CPR to get him together. I know you. None of that. They acted like cowards, and they ran. Jordan was so scared he ran through the cut and forgot he had drove the red car and had to come back to get going. You know, that says right there, that was intended. They came here in 2 cars. Carter and Camden pulled out. Jordan stayed there. There was no mention of when he first told Detective Garrett, I was trying to get him away. And no, what happened? You stood there, and what happened? Whatever happened, he turned. Fatally shot him to the back of the head. Deliberately did that. That was hate. 5 years is not enough for a hate crime. You didn't know how to get to Rondell, and he invited you over there to try to squash his brothers, because like I said, the only reason I know Jordan, Cameron, Stephen, Tyler, and I don't know the girls, but the reason I know the boys is because Dale always wanted to make all of them, with my children and his dad's children, be siblings. That's the reason I know. My next point, my 13-year-old granddaughter, right in here, one, suicidal. She is to the point where we have to literally reach out to her medical help and get her some type of counseling. She'll open up to her mom, she'll open up to me, she'll open up to her aunt, but the fact that she's a daddy-girl and no longer open up to it messes with her. So the last thing I want this to do is domino into a situation where I have another funeral because she can't make sense of her uncle, who's so great to his nieces and nephews on their side of the family, is a complete devil to his oldest brother's children. And on Christmas, they're like, they have you on, what's that when you go to try to get some money, send a GoFundMe, trying to get up money so they can pay this guy. And nobody said, can we get some GoFundMe money to get some Christmas gifts for his other children, to make sure they have school supplies, to make sure they have school clothes, where they home, any of that, what a father would do. They wasn't hustling enough money for these children that he took their father away from them. They were trying to make sure he looks like a little innocent dove, which he is not. Now that I know his true personality. The other grandchild, you see Rondell, is named after his father. He couldn't even stand up here and tell you how he truly feels. And he took his, and again, the children, all but one, because she lives in Indianapolis, all of them were there to see their father, who is very active. He's made these children a statistic, very active in their lives. 1 minute they, oh, daddy, can we watch a movie? Can we look? And the next minute they looking out the window, and I have a picture in my phone of my son laying on the ground under a bloody sheet. They look at their father, how do you make sense of that? At 6, 7, 8, 9, how do you make sense of that age at the hands of your uncle? When all you could have did was one, stay where you were, let it go, call the law, mind your own business. You didn't have to take that invitation to say, well, my brother wanted to squash it. I'm so scared, but my brother's invited me over here to squash it. So if he puts you out the house because he said no guns are allowed in his house, and you lure him out to the house to bar, So you hurry up and get in your car and get away after you do what you did. I just need to make sense to them. And as my brother said, let their faith be restored in the justice system, because obviously there's no faith in heaven. You know, that is a squash deal. You know, the thing is, it ends all the way around, you know, and the effects that it has on me, like, you know, Vance mentioned. I'm looking at, you know, my son, he gets to watch football with his grandmother. In 5 years, he'll still be an able-bodied man. My son literally sits on my man like a trinket in the box. My strong boy, my protector, the one that, you know, helps, the one that is our pride and joy, the one that has children, the one that is not going to be able to train his boys. We do our jobs, but it's nothing like that natural connection with your natural parent. Yeah. My son Ben steps up, my daughter steps up, Cameron steps up, Leland, all of them step up. Nothing is like that connection with your natural parent. I don't know what that's going to do for them mentally. Rondell was getting, little Rondell here is getting teased in school. They're there. That's why your uncle gets him in school. You know, so now it turns into that pressure that his uncle put on him because he wanted to take the law into his own hands. That disrespects you and everything you stand for, to say that street justice. When all you had to do was, like I said, stay where you were, follow the law, or let it go, or let the makeup happen. Yeah, whatever happened was bad enough, but if you were so scared, why did you calmly stroll in the man's house? How did you calmly come outside? I don't see the problem with it. I mean, you Zimmerman now because the man in the house put on a hoodie. I didn't raise my children to be outside in 50, 60 degree weather in pajamas and shorts and t-shirts. It was a legit there. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with that. That doesn't make you a criminal because you want a house and you dress for the weather. But because you are calmly handling yourself in that moment, Rondell's calmly smoking a cigarette, he doesn't know what's going to happen to him. He's ambushed by his brothers. And he's the only one who has to face it. I hate that more than anything. They all should go. So, this thing about, this is the reason that we were talking, was mentioned. I don't agree with 5 years. I will never agree with 5 years. I will never be satisfied with 5 years. I am begging you to please look past that 5 year whatever. The lawyer gets the victory because his client gets 5 years. The prosecutor gets the victory because he secures a conviction. What victory does the mother have? His given father have? His brothers, his sister, and more importantly than all of us, his children. Where's the victory for them in 5 years? That's an insult to us. And I am begging you to please help us all restore faith in the justice system and give this coward what he deserves. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Dempsey.
That's all family members, judge, that would address the court.
All right, and anything from the state directly?
No, Your Honor.
Officer, could you please, Mr. Brooks, stand the letter of this jury?
Does actually the defendant would like to address the court briefly?
Well, that's fine. If there's anything you or your client would like to say after hearing from the state's witnesses, you may proceed.
How you doing? I just wanted to say a few things. One, I did love Rondell. He's my brother, but I did love him. I've always loved him. I was actually closer to him than actually most people in this courtroom. He's actually lived with us for a long time. And he was around me more than anybody a lot. And
we actually work at the same places a lot of times. We work together, we live together. With anybody else that can say they're so close. I'm not trying to like negate anything. Like I said, I agree with this family. I do feel bad. I did love him a lot, like, but I don't want to like, what's the word? Sling anything, but he's done a lot out here. He's not. Sometimes he can be not the best to other individuals. And I just want to say a couple things. Like for example, it was never planned. It was never planned. We had already set our differences, and I genuinely, before, I've never like somebody had said earlier that I was weapon on him before. I've never done that. He actually just took it off my belt line and used it on me. That's not a reason why we went there. We'd actually been this way before we had actually settled everything. He invited us over, he did. And I did want to leave. I was scared. And from what I can remember, he was facing me when it happened. The video showed that. I'm not here to, I don't want to say anybody's wrong or somebody said this or that. It's okay. But I did love him. I genuinely did. But at the same time, I was scared of him because I know he's capable of more than I am. I'm not, people said up here that I'm such a bad person. I do this and that in the past. I've actually happened. I've never done like that kind of stuff. I work. I just go to work and come home, chill with my family. I don't have time for extra stuff because I don't need money in the streets. I've never made money in the streets. I've only worked since I was 17. And I just want to say I did love him. And it's unfortunate for everybody in this room. It's bad. I was genuinely scared. That's all I have to say.
Ms. LaGore would like to speak briefly.
Thank you, Mr. Brooks.
Thank you, Judge.
My name is Tracy McGorry.
I can't hear you, I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. My name is Tracy McGorry.
McGorry, could you spell that for me?
Lagory. Jordan Brooks is my nephew. And I feel it's very important to speak to the court on Jordan's behalf and the way that we know Jordan to be. I've known Jordan his whole life. And he is truly an exceptional person in many ways. No matter where Jordan goes, he lights up the room with a smile and is very humorous and tries to make everyone else smile too. Because he cares that much about other people, even if he's had a bad day. He cares about how everyone else feels. He is a very warm and caring person, and Jordan is a very hard worker. He loves to be at home, he loves family, and he works hard and he takes care of himself. He don't ask of anybody else. And Jordan, the way I know him, would not want to hurt someone's feelings, let alone physically harm someone unless he felt his life was in danger. I can tell you that. Jordan believes in being very fair and loving to other people, even people he doesn't even know. He will go out of his way to help people. And I am sorry to Rondell's family, but myself and my family included knew him also. And I also known him to always be a bully, and he carried weapons on him every time we saw him. I've seen him harm people. He beat Jordan badly to the point my sister had to take him out of town for like 9 days because she was so afraid of what Rondell would do to him because he kept threatening to kill him. And then, after they came back after the 9 days, just shortly later, he tried to shoot Jordan Jordan was driving his brother's car and he shot up the car while Jordan was driving it. I know I don't have video of that, I can't prove it. But he was terrified. We were all terrified of him. I didn't want my children coming to family get-togethers down at my sister's because of how afraid we were of him. And he was like that in my neighborhood. He didn't even live in my neighborhood, and people in my neighborhood were afraid of him. I can tell you that, you know. And this is the last place I would ever think of Jordan to be, because he is always been such a loving, caring person to people, everyone. And I love him so much. And it breaks my heart that just by being associated with somebody could get you to this point, because you have no choice. If he said you come down here to squash it, you go, because you know if you don't go, he will come looking for you. And that is the truth. And I love you, Jordan, and I am so sorry that this has happened. You know, I am really sorry that this has happened, Jordan. And thank you so much for your time and letting me speak. Thank you.
Mr. Bennett, anyone else?
So this is one more person.
Forgive me, I'm not very good with words. I'm not very good at talking without crying at the moment. So bear with me.
So before you get started, could you tell me and spell your name?
My name is Heather Branham, Branam.
And how are you related?
I am his cousin.
Thank
you. So my name is Heather Branham. I am Jordan's older cousin. I would like to borrow some of your time to outline the character as I know it to be in my heart. I'm not the best at writing. Sorry, thank you for bearing. I grew up with Jordan. We used to spend a lot of time together playing and having fun. We had a lot of sleepovers. Jordan was always the peacekeeper in the family. We were being rowdy, wrestling, and arguing with each other between family members and cousins. Anything he has ever done in sports, he did amazingly and always seemingly with ease. From football, basketball, baseball, skating, you name it, he was probably better than most people on his first try. But he was humble. He would never brag or rub it in your face. He just liked to have fun and be with family. He always tried to be the one that was okay. He never wanted to burden others with his problems or stresses he was facing. He never wanted to make anyone feel bothered by him. I usually tell people that Jordan is one of the smartest people I know, like genius level smart. When Jordan was in high school, he got a perfect score on state testing. They had a ceremony at school and he didn't even tell anybody because he was embarrassed for getting all the attention. I believe it was because he felt he didn't deserve it. Because Jordan comes off or has been one, he has never wanted to focus on him. He even had someone close to him offer to pay for his education. He declined because he didn't feel right having someone help him and burden themselves. Jordan has always been one to laugh off a problem or try to paint it in a better light. He is quick to apologize and admit when he is wrong or he has messed up. He just loves being silly and fun in the group. If you knew him, you would see that he just wanted to make everyone around him happy and laugh. He never liked there being bad vibes between anyone in his life. He has never been a violent or hateful person. He loves everyone. He wants everyone to win. He has never had fun at the expense of another person. Jordan has always made an effort to avoid bad situations. Since he was in high school, he would mostly just go to work, sleep, see a few friends, play some video games at home. And that was it. He would say all the time he didn't want to be a part of the drama or problems with people around where he was. He never liked drama or he was the first one gone. Throughout my entire life, my cousins have always been there for me, especially Jordan. He's always been there to help me when I've had hard times, to cut my grass, to talk to me, to anything I needed. He has always been one of those caring people in my life. He has always gone out of his way to help anyone who has ever asked him for anything. This includes just watching a dog, take care of his brother's children. Like anybody that needed him, he's there. Jordan is an overall great man. He works hard and he wants it on his life. He can go anywhere, become friends with anyone. People just love being around him, and his positive attitude is infectious. I believe in my soul with every fiber of my being that Jordan is a good man and he does not deserve this. That's all. I love you, Jordan.
Judge, I don't have anything else.
All right, anything further from the state? No, Your Honor. All right, I'm ready to announce sentence. So, Mr. Brooks, thank you for speaking. It was helpful for me to hear from you directly because the trial didn't complete. And I agree with Ms. Kesey that we need to have everyone in the community feel that our justice system. I also was sad to hear that she considers this a deal in the dark because it happened so quickly. But that's what happens when you're in the middle of a trial and trial is to proceed at 10:30 that morning, that the time for the deal was 4 o'clock Tuesday night to Wednesday morning at 10:30. So I understand your frustration with that, Ms. Kesey, but it is part of our justice system. So, and I appreciate that you did understand from the prosecutor what the deal was. But I just want to remind you that Mr. Jordan Brooks was facing a lifetime in prison, and he was charged with murder. And what he pled to, the agreement of the state and himself, everyone agreed. And so we know at this point that he committed voluntary manslaughter. That means that he acted under the influence of sudden passion or in a sudden fit of rage that was brought on by serious provocation to which he used deadly force. Does that really tell us what happened? No. Would I have preferred us to finish the trial and find the evidence? Yes, and I think everybody would have. But Mr. Jordan knows, and Mr. Jordan has accepted responsibility. I know several of Mr. Rondell Brooks' family talked about responsibility and accountability. And I think that part of my reason for accepting the plea and listening to the recommended sentence is that Mr. Brooks did take responsibility and admitted that he committed voluntary manslaughter. Is this 5 years justice? Is a lifetime in prison justice when you're looking at the loss of Mr. Brooks, his family, his children, his mother, his brothers, his uncle, all of this, everyone who knew and loved him? Nothing that I would enter as a sentence today will make any of you feel any better today. I understand that. My job is to come up with a sentence that protects the community, that punishes Mr. Brooks, and if there was some way to rehabilitate him, that would be one of the goals of the sentence. As I said to you at your plea, Mr. Brooks, I'm not required to accept the recommended agreed sentence. I could give you more time, I could give you less time. It's my feeling that this was a sudden passion moment, and you were reacting with emotion, and then your cousin called you a peacekeeper. Your family all has loving and kind words for you.
they're shocked that you did this. But that is what voluntary manslaughter is being angry, being impassioned, and unfortunately, you had a gun, a loaded gun. And when you were feeling threatened, the decision you made was to use your gun. That is not self-defense. So I don't want the message to be that all you have to say is, oh, it was self-defense and you can get 5 years. Because in fact, if he did prove and the state was unable to disprove self-defense, he's going home. Self-defense is no prison time. Self-defense is not guilty. And that was not proven in the limited trial that we had. So he isn't being rewarded for self-defense. He's being punished for voluntary manslaughter. The justice system involved not just the witnesses of trial, the prosecution, the police officers' work, and bringing the evidence, and making the video and finding all that video. But the justice system also included everyone who spoke here today. To know how Mr. Rondell's family is feeling and what they want. They want justice, and I understand from Mr. Jordan Brooks and his family, they also want justice. And I think a just sentence in this case is the recommended sentence from the state and from Mr. Brooks. And I will order that Mr. Brooks be taken into custody. He is going to serve 1 year mandatory on the specification, the gun specification, followed by 4 years mandatory on the volunteer charge. Mr. Brooks, remarkably, and unfortunately for you today, you only served 3 days in jail before trial. You'll get credit for those 3 days. Your sentence is based on an agreed sentence. Therefore, you're not eligible for early release, judicial release, transitional control, good time credit, or any other reduction. You must serve post-release control as determined by the parole board between 2 to 5 years. I will not require that you pay any fines in this case, but I will require that you pay court costs on this case, and your weapon must be forfeited. I think this is the best outcome, given the facts that I know. I understand this is a hard sentence for the family of Mr. Rondell Brooks, because so many of you were asking for the maximum. But some of you also asked for a just sentence, and I think this is a just sentence and a just outcome. Anything further from the state?
Nothing further, Judge, thank you.
Anything further, Mr. Bennett?
Nothing, Your Honor, you have to apply for the right to appeal.
Yes. So to complete your sentence, Mr. Brooks, because this is a felony conviction, you are required to provide a DNA sample to anyone authorized by state law, including anyone from the parole board or the prison system. Failure to do so can result in further punishment. You also have the right to appeal this sentence. If you can't afford the cost of the appeal or the documents, those will be waived. And if you cannot afford an attorney, one will be appointed for you with no cost. You have 30 days to file your appeal. Anything further from the state?
No,
Your Honor.
Anything else? Mr.
no.
All right. May take him into custody. Thank you.
Great, no, I got that, no information that was done.
It's been a while since